Good morning, everyone. This is Phil Gibson with Unity Group at Keller Williams, and today we are talking to Kelley Seriano at Asure, a software company that handles payroll and a few other items associated with small businesses. And what we're wanting to do today is talk a little bit about ERTC, and Kelley is going to provide us some insight on that and how small businesses can be impacted or can benefit from the use of not only her software, but the information we're about to have here. So how you doing, Kelley? How's things going?
Doing good on a rainy Monday morning in Denver.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good deal. So tell us a little bit about ERTC. I know it came into effect, with the pandemic, but how are small businesses impacted on this thing?
Sure. So ERTC stands for the Employee Retention Tax Credit. And it was introduced as part of the CARES Act, and it includes tax credits for businesses to retain employees during the pandemic.
Okay.
ERTC is a refundable tax credit that can be claimed when eligible employees report their total qualified wages for purpose of the ERTC.
Okay. And does anybody qualify for this, or what's the qualifications?
A lot plays into it. There are qualifications for the year 2020 and qualifications for 2021.
Okay.
The different items that do play into it are PPP and when that was taken advantage of, what the wages were used for. Gross receipts also play into this as well, payroll, and a couple of other variables. In 2020, there are retroactive credits. So an employer can actually get a retention credit of 50% of $10,000 per employee in qualifying wages, or $5,000 tax credit per employee. Okay. So originally, businesses had the choice of PPP funds or ERTC credits, but not both. And then on December 27th in 2020, the Consolidated Appropriations Act, CAA, is the acronym, modified the CARES version of ERTC so that businesses who receive the PPP loans can now retroactively participate in ERTC, as long as they don't double dip and apply for ERTC with payrolls paid with the PPP funds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And then in 2021, it changes.
Okay.
So with that, the CAA, which is the Consolidated Appropriations Act, passed on December 27th, 2020, extended the ERTC to Q1 and Q2 of 2021. And with that, the American Rescue Plan Act was signed into law on March 11th, 2021, and extended the ERTC through Q3 and Q4 of 2021. The credits change in 2021. It's 70% of wages, which are up to $10,000 per employee that quarter. This can result in $7,000 per employee for 4 quarters in 2021, totaling up to $28,000.
Okay. Okay. Now, are you finding that, are there certain industries that seem to be tapping into the ERTC more than, say, another, like our restaurants? Because I've heard there's also restaurants have some funding coming to them to support, all the loss that they had over the last 18 months to, are they able to access both those funds and ERTC, or what are you seeing with that?
The CARES Act did release a lot of different parts of it that are lifelines or rescue to the business owners.
Okay.
In regards to restaurants specifically, I would imagine they would benefit greatly from ERTC. Okay. Some of the industries I've been helping personally are cleaning companies, accounting firms. So both gray, blue, white collar, all of them are benefiting from this.
Okay. And then how do you go about claiming ERTC?
Sure. So it's important. There's 3 steps. It's important to, first of all, figure out what those qualifying wages are. So taking a look at that payroll data and identifying the eligible wages, which actually you're able to include the health plan expenses as well in that step. So taking a look at that, And then there is a calculation, and calculating the eligible ERTC wages are critical to understanding how much you're eligible for. And the last step would be filing an amended return. So with the credits, filing an amendment is necessary, and we can do that for you.
Yeah, that was my next question is how do you find, organizations that may want to take advantage of this? How do they normally go about doing this? Are they just kind of trying to do it on their own? Obviously, there's an opportunity to come to organizations like yours and have them help. But are accountants kind of handling some of this for small businesses? What are you seeing?
Surprisingly enough, Phil, I'm actually facilitating this service for several accounting firms. What happened initially, some people and organizations and accounting firms thought, well, this seems simple enough, I can handle it. And once they started really rolling up their sleeves and creating some sweat on the brow, they realized, this is a bit more cumbersome than I thought. So I've had a lot of organizations reactively come to me wanting assistance with this. And it's because this is a little bit bigger than what meets the eye, and there's a lot that goes into it. And filing those amended returns is not exactly profitable, even for an accounting firm. So the fact that my firm that I work for, Asure, can do it at a really reasonable rate is helping a lot of business owners get some peace of mind and put their time into more revenue generating tasks in the organization.
Okay. And when a business receives this funding or this tax credit, what is is it considered taxable income? So like in 2022, when they go about, or even maybe, they file their 21 return, is this considered taxable income?
It is.
Okay. All right. So then there's some processing associated with some of that, I guess, as well.
There is, yet they don't have to pay it back. So that is the win.
Now, you said this earlier, they can't really take advantage of both PPP and the ERTC though, right?
They can. What makes the difference is the timeframes.
Okay. All right.
It all depends on the timeframes of PPP and correlating that to the ERTC.
Okay. All right. So what questions haven't I asked that you find the small business owner or medium-sized business is asking you as it pertains to ERTC?
How much? How much does Asure charge, and what exactly do we do?
Yeah, so, there you
go. So Asure will do all three steps for our organizations.
Okay.
So first of all, we're going to review those qualifying wages. We have the payroll data already, and those organizations that have converted over to my services from other payroll services have that information, and it's very easy for us to get the retroactive information through a simple import. Okay. And we're going to take a look at all that payroll data and identify the eligible wages, which again include those qualifying health plan expenses. That's the first step. The second step is we're going to calculate the eligible ERTC wages. We're going to take into account the complete calculation, ensuring accuracy. And we're going to take into consideration the dates of the PPP loan. We're going to do that. The last step is we're going to file those amended returns, which is really a differentiator in the marketplace. The fact that we do that is awesome. So Asure will actually process the credits in our payroll system for the audit period and file the necessary amended tax returns. And for our services, it's a very reasonable charge of $500 at the end of the quarter. And this is only if we find actual credits. So let's just say, for example, quarter one is something we're auditing, January, February, March, that's 3 months. So that client would not get charged that $500 to the end of the quarter. And it's only if we find something. To do the actual labor and the work, you could tell it sounds pretty taxing. That's just a one-time fee of $500 as well.
Okay. Well, that seems pretty reasonable to really understand where the opportunity is as it pertains to ERTC. So yeah, that makes sense. How long does the setup or, talking to a potential small business or medium-sized business, how long does that entire process take till you really understand, okay, we've got an opportunity for ERTC with your organization?
I'm glad you asked. Initially, I always tell my clients, once this process is committed on and I gain a commitment from my client, I always like to allow a solid 72 hours before they get a welcome call. Sometimes it happens even faster. A welcome call meaning that specialist in my center of excellence is going to call my client and talk through some of the metrics with ERTC and get some of that specific information they're really looking for. The welcome call is going to also help set expectations moving forward, establishing a Gantt chart. So this is when we're going to start pulling the information, and this is when it will be completed by. So it really depends based on the client's schedule. We never like to rush a process or hurry anyone through anything unnecessarily. Yet, if the client has a strong sense of urgency, so do we, and we can absolutely keep up. And with that, we allow the entire quarter for that audit period.
Okay.
And then at the end of the quarter is when we will report the wages found.
Okay, great. So if somebody wanted to utilize Asure, how would they go about getting a hold of you or the organization?
Simply call me.
Okay.
Or email me. And my number is 720-375-4538.
And I'll be including that at the bottom of this video as well as on the trailer. And I'll have Kelley's email address in there as well. So if it's easier for you to contact her via email, we can also do that. Any last comments, Kelley, that, or maybe something that we might have missed out on in this discussion?
Asure is also a complete human capital management organization. So we have a scalable platform that can scale down to that one employee paid monthly and make it super affordable and competitive, to that mid-size range of employees. I like to call that within the hundreds. And we can even scale above 1,000 if necessary. And our platforms mirror that. So we're not going to turn on a lot of bells and whistles if you have a very simple organization. Yet, if it is more complex and you need time and attendance tracking, mobile app, etc., we can absolutely facilitate those services for your needs.
Okay. So you're tracking, basically, you have a solution that provides A to Z, it sounds like. I mean, you can kind of do the entire payroll process and time allotment and everything like that. That's awesome.
It is really awesome, especially after being in the industry for 21 years and being able to offer a one-stop shop and truly mean it has been awesome.
Now, does your system, I know there are some industries that have kind of a regulatory component, associated with them. Does your system have any of that features, I guess, if you want to call them that, in the system that can help companies kind of control that?
Absolutely, Phil. So we are going to update the tax tables automatically on a payroll-to-payroll basis. We also release blogs, host webinars, and studies that talk to ERTC in depth, everything from how the OSHA enforcement priorities have increased while mitigating the COVID risk in the workplace, all the way to the American Rescue Plan Act 2021 and what you need to know about ACA subsidies. Okay. We have a full database of blogs, webinars, ebooks, guides that are free to our client base. Furthermore, for our clients, we have an HR help desk where we have experts that have over 10 years experience in the HR field, can answer questions legally too. Also offering the possibilities for the employee to go on and create an employee handbook. So we really help keep our clients covered and in compliance.
That's good to know because, we've been talking about ERTC and some payroll aspects, but it sounds like you guys are pretty expansive and can handle HR, the HR side of things, which I know for small and medium-sized business can be cumbersome at times.
Absolutely. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and I was just glad that I started working for a payroll processor straight out of college because I immediately understood what was necessary for my family members to run their businesses successfully and within compliance. The value I was able to offer them by starting my career in payroll immediately was these compliance measures that nobody tells you about in school.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. You know, and I would think that in working with somebody like yourself and your organization, you can maybe, if it's to your point about entrepreneurs, somebody that's starting off, it kind of offloads some of that initial stress that may be related to payroll, HR, taxes. Some of that stuff can be addressed by your organization, it sounds like.
Absolutely, especially when organizations are expanding multi-state. We have helpful links that will help them have the appropriate documentation for employees in Florida, a secondary location in Nevada. We have all of these tools that my clients and even potential clients have access to. And it's saved a lot of time on their end.
That's great. Well, I don't have anything else. Kelley, if there's anything you'd like to say as we wrap up.
Not at all. I really appreciate the time today, Phil, and enjoy working with you.
Thank you. So once again, this is Phil Gibson with the Unity Group at Keller Williams, Kelley Seriano with Asure. And if you would like to reach out to either one of us, I'll have our contact information in the trailer of this video. But we really appreciate you watching this, and hopefully it was valuable for your small or medium-sized business, or if you're growing into a large business, Asure can certainly help you there. Once again, Phil Gibson with Unity Group at Keller Williams. If you're looking to buy or sell a home or possibly invest in real estate, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Have a great day, everybody.